Football is indeed a beautiful game, but have you ever thought about what your football heroes might be keeping from you? If you think you know everything about your favorite football stars, think again. It's not what you think it is when you look at great people like Diego Maradona and Bruno Fernandes de Souza. There is something darker behind the success, the goals, and the fame. Join us as we reveal football's darkest moments and the notorious criminals behind the fame. Let's kick things off with Adam Johnson. Adam Johnson's fall from grace is truly shocking. Johnson's career showed great promise as a talented winger who played for Sunderland and represented England. Nevertheless, his reprehensible behavior outside the game resulted in one of the most widely covered legal cases in the history of football. After his sacking by Sunderland 8 years ago, the disgraced footballer has yet to find a new club. He had previously played for Middlesbrough and Manchester City before spending the majority of his professional career at Sunderland. However, in a shocking turn of events, the 35-year-old was let go by the Black Cats following his admission of guilt for engaging in physical activity with a child and child grooming. This grave offense resulted in a significant 6-year prison term back in 2016. Although after 3 long years, he finally walked out of those prison gates, his sentence cut in half. Johnson's actions had devastating consequences, not only for his own career, but also for the well-being of his victim and the reputation of the sport. Coming in next, we have Bruno Fernandes de Souza. It might come as a surprise that the most heinous crime in football's dark history is that of Bruno Fernandes de Souza, the Brazilian goalkeeper whose actions shocked the world. In 2010, Bruno was found guilty of masterminding the tragic demise of his former partner, Elisa Samudio. The details of the crime were absolutely horrifying. Elisa Samudio was taken to a flat in Rua Araruama, Belo Horizonte, according to the story. Upon her arrival, she was captured and met a grim fate at the hands of a notorious hitman known as Bola, and her remains were disposed of in a rather gruesome manner, becoming a meal for his ferocious dogs. Bruno received a staggering 22-year prison sentence, a clear indication of the heinous nature and calculated planning of his crime. The chilling aspect of Bruno's case was the calculated manner in which the murder was carried out, coupled with his initial efforts to elude the grasp of justice. The crime reverberated across the footballing world in Brazil, where Bruno was once hailed as a talented player with a promising future. The crimes were truly terrible, leaving a lasting impact on him that he can't seem to shake off to date. And now we have Michel Platini, a legendary figure in the world of football. Michel Platini's remarkable journey from being one of football's shining stars to a deeply tarnished administrator is definitely a grace-to-grass story. In his prime, Michel Platini was a true icon for France, mesmerizing fans with his graceful style of play. He captained the national team to victory in the 1984 European Championship and was honored with 3 Ballon d'Or awards, solidifying his status as a football legend. Platini, also known as Le Roi, which translates to the King, was truly one of France's most exceptional footballers. Nevertheless, his actions outside of the game would eventually overshadow his football performance. Platini's rise in the football administration world seemed destined for greatness. As UEFA president from 2007, he brought about numerous reforms and passionately championed financial fair play. However, his career took a devastating blow in 2015 when he came embroiled in a corruption scandal. The scandal revolved around a $2 million payment that was authorized by then FIFA president Sepp Blatter. The payment made in 2011 for work allegedly done a decade earlier raised eyebrows due to its suspicious nature. Platini asserted that the salary was rightfully his, yet the timing and absence of documentation raised concerns. An investigation by the Ethics Committee of FIFA resulted in a ban from all football-related activities. Initially, the ban was set for 8 years, but was later reduced to 4 years after an appeal. The scandal dealt a major blow to Platini's reputation and, unfortunately, put an end to his ambitions. Not surprisingly, Sepp Blatter. Sepp Blatter's time as FIFA president from 1998 to 2015 is also marred by widespread corruption. He became closely associated with the negative aspects of football's global governing body as a multitude of allegations regarding bribery, vote rigging, and financial mismanagement came to light during his tenure. His downfall began in 2015 when authorities in the United States and Switzerland initiated investigations into the activities of FIFA. Upon closer examination, it became evident that a deep-rooted culture of corruption had been thriving for numerous decades. Bribes were shamelessly traded in exchange for hosting rights, marketing contracts, and executive votes. Even Blatter himself was not fireproof. In 2015, FIFA's ethics committee banned him for 8 years, later reduced to 6 over a $2 million payment to Michel Platini. Remember I mentioned that earlier? The payment, supposedly for consulting work, lacked proper documentation and was considered unethical. Blatter adamantly proclaimed his innocence, affirming that the payment was completely legitimate. However, the scandal undeniably stained his reputation beyond repair. Moving on, let's talk about Tony Adams. Known as a legendary presence in the world of English football, Tony Adams led both Arsenal and the England national team with exceptional skill and leadership. However, in 1990, Adams hit rock bottom when he was sentenced to 4 months in prison for drunk driving. He had collided his vehicle with a wall in close proximity to his residence in Southend, Essex, while surpassing the permissible alcohol limit. Adams completed only half of his sentence and was granted early release after 2 months due to his exemplary behavior. It's truly remarkable how Tony Adams managed to break free from addiction and maintain his sobriety. Adams' time behind bars marked a significant shift in his life. It compelled him to face his addiction and the consequences it had on his professional and personal life. Following his release, he reached out for assistance and ultimately achieved sobriety. His incredible journey to recovery served as an inspiration, propelling him to lead Arsenal to even greater triumphs, such as clinching the Premier League and FA Cup double in 1998. Up next is Joey Barton. Joey Barton, renowned for his aggressive approach during matches, has gained notoriety for his violent actions outside of the game. The English midfielder's volatile temper often spilled over into physical fights, earning him a reputation as one of football's bad boys. In 2008, Barton's infamy reached its zenith when he received a 6-month prison sentence for assault. The incident, captured on CCTV, showed Barton punching a man to the ground, followed by a relentless attack on another outside a McDonald's in Liverpool. Barton's history is filled with several other instances of violence. Back in 2007, there was an unfortunate incident involving him and his teammate Ousmane Dabo during training, an attack so severe that it left Dabo with a detached retina. And that's not all, he had his fair share of run-ins with the law and governing bodies, even facing a 13-month ban for betting offenses in 2017. He lacks self-control. Next on our list is George Best. Manchester United's George Best is often remembered as one of the greatest footballers of all time. If you watch him dribbling through opponents, you might easily be fooled into thinking he's not running, but somehow floating. His boldness was truly unprecedented, at least in the English game. Nevertheless, his exceptional performance on the field was paralleled by his detrimental actions off of it. Best's struggle with alcohol was extensively documented, often resulting in legal troubles. Back in 1984, he found himself in hot water after being found guilty of drunk driving and assaulting a police officer. As a result, he was handed a 3-month prison sentence. His battle with alcohol not only cut short his football career, but also resulted in several high-profile incidents and encounters with the legal system. Let's move on to Patrick Kluivert. Patrick Kluivert possessed immense talent, yet his career was marred by a devastating and controversial event. The Dutch striker was involved in a devastating car accident in 1995 that claimed the life of Dutch theater director Martin Putman. Kluivert was convicted of reckless driving and was given a community service sentence. Kluivert's career was greatly affected by the incident. "Something inside me is broken," expressed Patrick Kluivert, the talented young Ajax striker, following the tragic car accident that has cast a dark cloud over his season for club and country. "I can never be fully happy again. The child in me has been killed." Despite his success on the field, including a memorable spell at Barcelona, the accident and its aftermath were constant reminders of a dark chapter in his life. And now we have Marlon King. Marlon King's football career is of a troubling series of criminal incidents. He has a large criminal record which is concerning. He has been convicted of traffic violations, theft, fraud, and so on. Nevertheless, it is his abhorrent acts of violence towards women that have captured the utmost scrutiny and disapproval. In 2009, King faced the consequences of his actions and was sentenced to 18 months in prison for a physical assault and causing actual bodily harm. The incident occurred in a bustling nightclub where King unleashed his aggression upon a woman who rejected his advances, breaking her nose in the process. What is also shocking is that King has faced accusations and convictions for similar offenses on multiple occasions, revealing a consistent pattern of predatory behavior. He has one of the most reviled reputations in the world of football. And finally, a story you won't believe. The dark side of Diego Maradona. Renowned for his infamous Hand of God goal and hailed as a beloved icon, Diego Maradona's on-field achievements were nothing short of legendary. There is no doubt among those who played with or against Maradona that he's the undisputed greatest footballer of all time. Hector Enrique, who played alongside Maradona during Argentina's triumphant World Cup campaign in Mexico in 1986, expressed his belief that there will never be another player like Maradona. However, his life off the field was a different story. Maradona's struggle with drug addiction was widely known and had a devastating impact. Back in 1991, he faced a 15-month ban from football due to a positive cocaine test during his time at Napoli. His addiction took a dark turn, resulting in more suspensions and multiple encounters with the law. Back in 1994, he faced the unfortunate consequence of being expelled from the World Cup due to testing positive for ephedrine, a banned substance. More so, his legal issues went beyond drug-related matters. Diego has had a tumultuous relationship with journalists throughout his career. This was evident in 1994, right before his positive test at the US World Cup, when he resorted to using a compressed air rifle to fend off reporters at his doorstep. Maradona was also accused of tax evasion and had numerous altercations with fans. And there you have it, football's darkest moments and the most notorious criminals in the game. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss what's coming next.